Okay, imagine this for a second. You've got an 18-year-old high school kid, Salman Chowdhury. He applies to 10 of the absolute top universities in the US. And, incredibly, he gets into every single one. We're talking Harvard, Yale, Princeton, Columbia, UPenn. I mean, the list goes on.
Yeah, it's a stunning achievement. Really quite remarkable.
And here's the kicker, maybe the most surprising bit.
Yeah.
He did this without, the usual playbook. No super expensive private tutors, no high-flying admissions consultants, none of those exclusive summer camps that, let's be honest, so many families feel they have to invest in these days.
Right. It really makes you stop and think, doesn't it? Especially now when getting into college feels like such an intense competition. It often seems like it's all about who has the most resources, the most polished resume in that very traditional sense. Salman's story, it cuts right through that.
Exactly. It wasn't about privilege in that way or just ticking boxes. It was something deeper, more, well, fundamental.
Something built from the ground up by his family based on their core principles.
Precisely. And that's what we want to explore in this deep dive. We're going to unpack these three actually quite simple, but really powerful ideas, mantras, really, that his immigrant parents instilled in him. And these weren't just about getting good grades, right? They were life lessons that clearly made a huge difference.
Absolutely. And we think these principles, they offer some really valuable takeaways for anyone, honestly, not just for getting into college, but for finding, sustainable success in whatever path you're on.
Okay, so let's get into it. Let's unpack this. So the first big idea, the first mantra his family lived by was health before hustle. Now that probably sounds, well, almost backwards to a lot of people, especially when you think about the intense pressure in top high schools.
Completely counterintuitive.
Yeah, we see students pushing themselves like crazy, sacrificing sleep, eating junk, just grinding constantly for those grades. But Salman's parents, they took a totally different approach. They consistently, maybe even radically, put his well-being first.
And it wasn't just talk. The way they actually did this, it really shows their commitment. Salman talked about his dad waking up super early, like way before dawn. Why? Just to drive him to school. Not for convenience, but specifically so Salman could grab an extra hour of sleep instead of taking the early bus.
Wow, that's real dedication.
It really is. And his mom, often up around 4:30 in the morning, making sure he had a proper, nutritious breakfast. Eggs, garlic toast, protein, real fuel.
Not just grabbing a cereal bar on the way out the door.
Exactly. And they even, coordinated their own work schedules. Pretty demanding jobs, but they made sure someone was always home when he got back from school. No empty house. That consistency, that care, it builds such a strong foundation of security.
It really does. And, this isn't just a nice family story. There's solid science behind this. We know good sleep is absolutely critical for, well, everything. Cognitive memory, problem solving, keeping emotions in check.
Right. And nutrition fuels the brain. You can't run on empty.
Exactly. So his parents weren't just hoping he'd do well.
Yeah.
They were actively creating the conditions for his brain to function at its best. It's about sustainability, not just a short sprint.
And what's really interesting, I think, is that this wasn't just about grades, even though it definitely helped them. It was about building resilience, like you said, fostering a healthy routine he could actually keep up, making sure he had the energy and the mental clarity to really learn, not just push through exhaustion.
Yeah, and this whole hustle culture thing where people almost brag about being burnt out. This approach feels very different. It taught him that taking care of yourself isn't selfish. It's actually what enables you to achieve things long term.
A foundational discipline, really.
Okay, so they built this strong base of well-being. What came next? This leads us to the second mantra: freedom to explore and fail. This one is all about encouraging curiosity, letting kids try new things, and, crucially, taking some risks without fear.
Yeah, and the key phrase his parents used was so powerful. If you don't like it, you don't have to stay.
Think about that. How often do kids get that kind of message?
Right.
Usually it's stick with it, right?
Exactly. That unconditional support, that freedom to try something and then say, you know what, this isn't for me, without feeling like a failure. That's incredibly liberating for a young person.
So what did that look like in practice? What did he explore?
Well, quite a range, actually. He got into robotics, which is pretty demanding. He joined FBLA, that's Future Business Leaders of America, developing leadership skills there. And also Skills USA, which is more focused on technical and vocational skills, so a real mix.
And these weren't just random activities to fluff up his application, were they?
No, not at all. They seemed to be genuine interests he was allowed to pursue without pressure. The point wasn't immediate success or sticking with it forever. It was about letting him discover what clicked, fostering that, internal drive.
Okay, and here's where that freedom really paid off, right? His biggest achievement stemmed from one of these explorations, leading a NASA HUNCH team.
That's a big deal.
Yeah. For anyone who doesn't know, HONCH lets high schoolers actually design and build things for NASA. Real hardware, real problems. Salmon's team designed a lunar rover, specifically for the really harsh conditions on the moon.
Wow.
And get this, he didn't just design it on paper. He actually went to the Johnson Space Center in Houston and presented the project directly to NASA engineers and astronauts.
That's incredible real-world experience. Talk about high stakes.
Right. It perfectly illustrates what Salmon himself said. Talent comes from skill development. But you need opportunities to put that talent to use.
Exactly. And that freedom to explore, even if it meant, stumbling at first or changing direction, that's what created those opportunities. It fostered real skills, real passion. If you step back, you see how much real learning happens outside the classroom through doing things, trying things, maybe even messing up sometimes.
It builds that growth mindset people talk about, right?
Yeah.
Seeing challenges as chances to learn.
Precisely. Adaptability, problem solving, skills that are valuable no matter what you end up doing.
Okay, so we have health first, then freedom to explore. What's the third pillar?
This one might be the most fundamental. Values over ambition. In the Chowdhury house, getting top grades or into fancy schools, while obviously good, wasn't the ultimate goal. The real priority was personal values.
That shifts everything, doesn't it? From focusing only on external achievements to looking at internal character and integrity.
So what were those core values?
They were deeply rooted in their Islamic faith, actually. Things like honesty, being grateful, staying curious, and perseverance, sticking with things when they get tough, but for the right reasons. And Salman really internalized this idea that success means giving back. It wasn't just a saying, it genuinely shaped how he approached things.
How did that show up?
In everyday ways. Academic honesty, obviously, but also how he treated classmates, his genuine curiosity about the world, helping others. It wasn't just about his own advancement.
And you can really see the impact when it came time for college applications, specifically those recommendation letters. Right. He mentioned his teachers didn't just write about his amazing grades or test scores. They focused on who I am as a person.
His character, his integrity, how he contributed to the school community.
Right.
Things that don't show up on a transcript.
Exactly. And you have to wonder, how much do universities actually value that? Well, look what happened. He was named a likely scholar by Columbia. He got a personal phone call from the Dean of Engineering at WashU in St. Louis offering a full scholarship, and ultimately, he chose Harvard.
It suggests that character, integrity, these values, they really do matter. Maybe more than we sometimes think in this numbers-driven world.
It definitely raises that question, doesn't it? It seems they're looking for more than just smarts. They're looking for good people, potential leaders with a strong moral compass.
Yeah. And this whole value-driven approach, it wasn't just about getting in. It shaped his desire to give back to his parents, his community, everyone who supported him. It's about becoming a contributor, not just a consumer.
A really well-rounded perspective.
So looking at Salman's whole journey, it's just such a powerful reminder, isn't it? In this incredibly competitive world of college admissions and, frankly, just life. Things like authenticity, consistency, strong values, they actually count.
They really do. They provide this solid foundation that goes way beyond just test scores or expensive prep.
It proves that real preparation, maybe the most important kind, starts from within, starts at home.
Exactly. This deep dive really highlights that sometimes the best preparation isn't the fancy stuff. It's the fundamentals. It's, a warm breakfast made with care. It's a ride to school so you get enough sleep. It's parents who believe in building a whole person, not just an academic machine.
Those seemingly small things, rooted in those core values, they built something incredibly strong. So we really encourage you, listening to this, to think about how these principles might apply in your own life. Prioritizing well-being, really allowing yourself or others the space to explore and maybe even fail sometimes, and grounding everything in strong personal values.
Yeah, whether you're figuring out education, making career moves, or just thinking about personal growth, these ideas offer a pretty solid, enduring framework. So, just to recap, today we explored Salman Chowdhury's incredible path to these top universities, and it was really guided by 3 core ideas. Putting health before the constant hustle, encouraging the freedom to explore and learn from missteps, and making sure ambition was always anchored by strong values.
His story really makes you think, doesn't it? While achievements are great, maybe they're often just the natural result of building a life on that kind of foundation: well-being, curiosity, integrity. It prompts a final thought, perhaps. What does success truly mean to you? And how might your daily habits, your underlying values, be shaping your path right now, maybe in ways you haven't fully recognized?
All the best, and we will meet again with another important matter again.